place this door here, and the rough opening is 2 foot 8 inches. And the height is 80 inches. And I'm going to reuse all this material. Cut the caulking. Do both sides. Notice there's caulking on that side too. We'll just caulk it over and it'll be like new. I don't get some little screw ups right there and fill those in putty. I would sand it with a sander first to make it smooth before I putty it.
So what are you doing?
Tearing the old frame out. Because I don't want any of it. Notice how there's right swung door. Here's how you tell the difference between right swung and left hung. You put your back to the jamb that the hinges are going to be on. It swings to the right, it's a right hung. It swings to the left, it's a left hung. Here, hinges on this side, right hung, left hung. And that baby is perfect. That's nice. That's real nice. Okay, so then, well, I'm going to put the door frame in. I need my Phillips screwdriver. A lot of times they just put in shipping, they'll put those in there for just stabilization to hold the, but I don't want anything in there. And this here is a temporary thing here that screws in. I'll take it out just to show you. But it screws in, it's like a temporary door. It fits in the jamb, and that keeps the frame and everything level. But the problem is, if I don't take this out now, once I put the door frame in, you'll never get it out. You're in deep trouble.
That's the short of the hammer.
I'll actually put the door handle in, like right now, before I even hang the thing. But I don't want to do that. I just want to get it set. So I'll go this way and start with my shims. I'm just going to, I want the door to be off the ground here.
Yeah.
But the main reason I want it off the ground, and I'm going to use two so that it's perfectly, the reason I want it off the floor, because I don't know if that floor is perfectly level. And if I mount the bottom right on the concrete, and this concrete goes up, then there's no way for me to level that door out. It will be impossible without tearing it apart.
So show how you did the shims again.
Right. They're opposite of each other, like that. And I turn them opposite so that it's level. It's not that important that it's level, but it's something. It keeps the door up off the concrete, half inch, quarter inch, whatever. It gives me the ability to frame it in and out. So I'm going to test it. Okay, let's try this again. I don't need to use any shim stock on that back side, but I'm going to because my gap here is so large. I'm going to split the difference. But when I do that, I got to be real careful that this is perfectly plumb, level up and down, plumb. So I'm going to start by putting shim stock that reaches. I can feel it on the back side with my finger here. And this is the narrow side here. And so, and I keep it next to the hinges because that's where the nails ought to go, is next to the hinges. Because that's where the weight is held. So that's where your nails have got to be. So, I'm going to same, and I'm lining it up so I can just barely see the sheetrock on both sides. And I'm going to these are 2.5 inch nails. And since I know this was level to start with, I can do the exact same thing down here. Get my shim stock all the way through. Line the door up. But before, I want to check and make sure that baby's level. Like I got to go in that way a little bit, so I'm going to back this shim stock up some. This is the most critical part of hanging the door, right here, getting this hinge side perfectly level. That looks perfect. I want to put another shim stock down below there. One above and one below the hinge. Middle one, I don't want to do anything to it. I don't want to put pressure on it. I just want to put the shims in there until they just barely reach the optimum. I don't want to push it out and warp the frame. I want to have it just barely touching where the shims don't fall. And again, really critical that this side of the door frame is solid as a rock, because this is the side that holds all the weight of the door. Going above and below the hinge again. I'm just one in the center's fine. I'm good there. Take my utility knife, score both sides. this concrete floor is probably sloped 1/4 inch per foot. So that's why that side's even up high, but still it's not even. I'm using this tool to cut the bottom jamb, but you can use a hand saw to cut that off.
You need your,
Would work just fine also. That seems like it might be enough, but I'm going to install the door handle right now to make doubly sure, get all that put together.
You're gonna shim that thing later, huh? On the
Yeah.
side? Yeah.
Can I just get something?
Sure,
Thank you.
I might need it.
so what,
Because the other side might be taking out the little itty bitty piece of wood so that and that's perfect. Now, I need to drill the holes through.
so you're pre-drilling the holes?
And the reason I'm doing that is because if I don't, it'll split the door jamb when you put the screws in. Most people think that you can just screw it in, but the problem is that the door jamb material is dry enough that it almost always splits the door jamb, and then you've got a real problem to deal with. There, I like that. Okay, here's the, and it has to come this way, and so the wedge has to be that direction, so I want to install that there like that,
Wait, what wedge?
like that.
Oh.
And there again, this does not fit perfectly inside there, so I'm going to have to trim it out and shim it a little. Not shim it, but I have to trim the wood with a wood chisel.
What are you doing, making sure they work?
Yeah, well, I couldn't turn the doorknob without being unlocked. We got a match. Okay.
I'll be up in there. No.
They just moved in here last Sunday, my son.
Oh,
Yeah. This Sunday when our water heater broke down.
isn't that how it goes?
It's all flooded.
Yeah, God.
We removed the carpet, everything.
The next step is every bit as critical, or the most critical part. Okay, this part that's critical, that's the right depth. But now, in addition to depth, this is where most people screw up. Is you close it this way, I'm going to put a couple nails in it. This is what, well, I'm just going to show you that when I close it, I'm going to hold the doorknob open so that it touches, and see how it's touching right up at the top, and I got the center already nailed, and it closes just right. So I want to hold the doorknob open like that and bring it gently to where it's just touching up here, the frame, and down there at the same time, you know, so that the thing is perfectly level, and then I want to nail it. So that's my objective. Because if you don't do that, there again, you've got a door that never
You gonna
closes
do all that
right.
with 2 hands?
You need 3 actually, yeah. I want that baby tight. Okay, now that that's nice and tight, now you can see how when it closes there's a gap at the bottom, but it's touching at the top. So I want to, now if you do that, I want to bring this side toward me just a little. And now it touches the bottom and the top at the exact same time. I hold this door frame this way just a little bit because it was hitting on the jamb here before it was hitting the bottom. And we have to hit them both at the exact same time, otherwise it won't work right. And so now that's right, and I can put some, and then the bottom should be just right, and now all I gotta do is shim it, and whatever it needs to be. And there again, when I shim this one, I want to make sure that the gap here is just the right. You're looking all the way from the top to the bottom, and you want this gap that's right here,
Wait. Right where?
this gap that's right here,
Yes.
to be the same at the bottom as it is on the top, and all the way up and down, because this door jamb can actually warp in and out and everything. And so the shims here is what makes it just right. And there again, it touches at the bottom, at the same time it touches the top. And I'm going to put a Now you see how it works? It looks like I'm going to have to cut some sheetrock off the backside maybe, but it looks like it should fit just right. This is how I do it. Get the burrs off. It's critical when you put it back together, you measure both sides, make sure you got the gap right.
What gap?
I'm going to bring it up a little higher. The gap that, it's got to be far enough on this side and that side. And I like that right there. So I'm going to put a nail in. Now this is where the little nail gun comes in handy, but I'm going to just use the big guy.
Okay, what about the gap? Something there?
Okay, I'm going to get it as close as I can, but that looks good right there.
So nice.
Anybody that knows me say,
Okay, last thing is, before you paint, you're supposed to use a caulking gun on this edge here. I don't have a caulking gun, but that's how you fill your nail holes with this
Yeah.
putty here.
now when you use that nailer,
Yeah.
do you feel any impact yourself, or is the
No,
You-
very little impact.
no impact on you at all?
Yeah, there's very little backward recoil on it.
Yeah.
The reason you don't use this stuff on this edge right here or back here is because it's going to give a little bit over the years.
Oh,
And this stuff is a little
Crack.
bit brittle. Yeah, it'll crack. It's a
Yeah.
little bit brittle. You don't have to use a putty knife here. You could actually
yeah.
put it on your finger
Right.
and go over it. Anyways, that's it, Helen.